So one of the case studies that I was reading up on, there's this woman who actually had a lot of memory loss. Then when they finally did an entire check, she was just bloated.
Yeah.
Bloating can cause
Yes.
memory loss.
Do not see it as brain and gut separately. It's your body. It is one body. It's one piece of machine that is working together to give us life.
Many nutritionists are prescribing it to people, and they feel like they have a stone in their stomach. They don't digest it easily. So as a culture, it's become that millets are not something we're able to digest in our bodies anymore. We don't have strong guts. Should we start with the brain or should we start with the gut?
Both. If you want to support your gut, please do not have sugar.
Okay, got it.
Do not
Got
have sugar. It is a poison. Everybody has a demanding career, right? And where to draw the boundary and to say this is my family time and this is my office time, to be able to set clear boundaries and still advance in their career, they do it very well. People want to please others. They want to get that acceptance from others, and that is why we are so hesitant to say no to things that do not work for us, thinking that I might hurt the other person.
Welcome to Vitamin B with Mohana. This is where we help you take control of your well-being. I'm so pleased to have my next guest on the show. She's Ruma Pal. She's an ex-colleague of mine, a friend, and an amazing person who has the craziest energy, and you'll know why when you join us on the conversation. Today, we'll talk about gut, we'll talk about stress, sleep, nutrition, and how everything is interconnected to make your brain function really well. So come join us and sit back, relax, and enjoy. Ruma, so lovely to see you and welcome on Vitamin B.
Thank you so much, Mohana. It's really, really nice to be here. And
wonderful.
Looking at you, gorgeous and beautiful. Wonderful. Yeah,
Thank
lovely
you,
to
and
be here.
looking at you, it's amazing, such an inspiration, right?
Thank you.
Ruma, I think what we're meeting now after 10 years, 14 years?
Yeah, close to that, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah. It's been a long time, well over a decade, and it's really great to understand your journey. When we started looking at vitamin B and its creation, one of the first few people that I met was you, and I really want to thank you a lot for all the support that you've given. And it was really a very meaningful identification given your entire journey into the space of nutrition, holistic wellness, fitness, and really doing it yourself. And that's the beauty of the whole thing, right?
Thank you, Mohana. Thank you.
Great.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So we'll have a range of listeners. Our audience is going to be fairly diverse.
Sure.
And I thought we can start with something fun.
Okay.
Let's start with this myth buster.
Okay.
Or if it's not a myth buster, let's talk about a misconception. Okay. So let's start with, you can give me a word or you can give me like a sentence, okay, or what you feel.
Okay.
The very first thing could be about weight.
Weight. All right. So many people think that by doing yoga and walking, they can lose weight. You will lose weight, but you will lose a lot of muscle as well.
Okay.
And you want to build muscle.
Okay. I'll come to that later. My yoga teacher was there saying something completely opposite. So that's very interesting.
Yes, sure.
So we covered weight, stress.
Yes. Oftentimes people feel that stress can only be negative, but stress can also be positive. In times when you wish to accomplish certain things, there is a deadline, stress can be positive. Stress needs to be handled so that it doesn't go out of control.
Sure. Yeah. The third one is nutrition.
Nutrition. Packed food, fruit juices.
Yeah.
Very unhealthy. People think that they can have fruit juices and have as a very healthy drink. Absolutely not, because they are filled with preservative. Many women feel that they can move out of sugar into jaggery. Doesn't work for women because it also releases sugar and helps them to pack on more weight. So
jaggery pack on more weight?
Yes.
Because I have jaggery.
You may want to watch that out.
But of course, I have it very, very...
Try stevia instead. Yeah.
So stevia is also packed. Is stevia something that can be...
It's an organic leaf which has a sweeter taste. So you may want to do that. And the better still is just get rid of the sweet flavor from your from your food itself. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
The last one is on a misconception or a myth on gut.
Often people think that only if you have bloating, acidity, indigestion, you have a gut issue. But gut issues can also be very hidden. If you have hyperthyroidism, oftentimes it is due to leaky gut and you do not know about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, what a way to start, right? I really have to rethink jaggery at least in my
Yes.
diet, right?
Absolutely. Jaggery, honey, both. Rethink
Honey
both
as
of
well, is it?
Yes. Honey you apply on face, but do not put it inside.
But honey, it is said that honey culture is very
It
good
does.
for us.
It does, and it is great for gut also. But if somebody is looking for fat loss, honey and jaggery, none of them work because both of them give us an insulin spike.
So, if a person is not looking at losing weight, but generally as part of their diet, can they have a little bit of jaggery, a little bit of honey, and not white sugar, essentially?
So definitely jaggery and honey are better alternatives to white sugar. White sugar is poison. Jaggery and honey are definitely better alternatives. But if you have conditions like PCOS, hormonal imbalances, irregular periods, transitioning through menopause, diabetes, cholesterol, triglyceride, you're struggling with hypothyroidism, for any of these, jaggery and honey doesn't work. For all the other conditions, they will work.
And mostly you're talking about women.
Mostly about women, yes.
Okay.
For men, it is still good.
To have jaggery
And honey, yes, but do not overdo because they also give insulin spike.
Yeah.
And if a man is also going through diabetes, triglycerides, cholesterol, then jaggery and honey in big portions will not work for a man.
And triglyceride is linked to diabetes, basically.
Triglyceride is a fat which floats around in our blood and can clog our arteries.
You get a heart attack eventually.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay. So, Ruma, how has the last decade of your life been? You moved away from, and just for the audience's familiarity, we both worked in the same company.
Yes.
I was in HR.
Yeah.
And you were in
IT.
engineer in IT,
Yes,
technology,
yes.
and you made an amazing move. And at least in those cities, it was not yet that fashionable to be in the gym, be that fit. Today, it's a phenomenon. Everybody's doing it, right? They want to. But back then it was not. So you were pretty early in moving in that direction. So what happened?
So, I have been exercising since I was in university. I was 22, I think, when I started. And I mainly started because of fear. I had seen how my mother had struggled throughout her life because of poor health. She had fibroids. She had to undergo hysterectomy at the age of 38. And I knew that she wasn't taking care of herself. And I knew that as a fact for Indian women, that Indian women always deprioritize their health. So I had this very firm thing in my mind and the fear that I don't want, I had so much of aspirations, Mohana, right? I had so much of aspirations that I didn't want to give up my aspirations just because I had poor health. Yeah. And hence I started in university. I continued while I was in my corporate job as well. Through my pregnancies, right after delivery, I was always into fitness. I was I want great health, great body, everything great. And then came a time in 2016 when my elder son was in grade 9 and he was going through a lot of tough time in school. And you know how we used to work, right? Demanding career across the globe. We had teams across the globe. And at that time, I realized that my children were growing organically without, my husband was also busy. I was also busy. And my elder son, was going through a lot of tough time at school. He was in class 9, and that is when we took a conscious decision. My husband was earning more, so who would preserve the job? We decided, let my husband keep the job. I'll stay at home and look after my elder son till he settles down. Yeah, and then I quit. I just quit. And then, after some time, women like us, right, we want something to do in our life. And I started feeling a bit of a hollow. What do I do next? I had a lot of thoughts in mind. Data science was coming up. AI people were just beginning to speak about it. And I was thinking, being in the IT field, should I go and do that? But then I don't know where, it just connected. Fitness is the thing. And if I can change the lives of middle-aged people, and at that time, Mohana, I started reading a lot of reports that India was the diabetic hub of the world. Diabetes, heart attacks were on the rise, and young people like us. Yeah. I still consider myself young at the age of 49. So, young people like us were getting heart attacks. And that was, I felt that I probably can do something to change that. And yes, and then I just moved into
Moved
fitness.
into fitness. It was a natural
Yes,
next step for you.
full time fitness.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. And were you scared? What was the role of fear? I love asking people this because it takes a lot of courage, right, to actually make a shift. And for many people who are watching, today's world offers you something that's different from what we actually in our 20s experienced, which essentially meant a job and you have to do very well, keep getting promoted. It's almost dead end.
Very secured, right?
And doing, like I was mentioning this is another podcast, that they don't perceive even doing something like this as a job.
Yeah.
Right? It's an old school thought process. So were you scared when you actually made this shift?
I was very determined to look after my son because I could see the damage that was happening to him and I didn't want him to suffer. But what happened were my very loving colleagues, they induced fear in me. What will happen to you when you wake up on the first of next month
The
and the
paycheck.
paycheck has not deposited? The dresses that you want to wear and the
Yeah.
luxuries that you want to buy, what is going to happen to that? That is when I had the fear. And also another thing, Mohana, I think one of the things that was there as an underlying current, not very visible, what happens to my identity? For so long, I have been known as an educated, talented, skilled woman, and I have been doing great at my work. What happens next? I will just be a homemaker, mother. Yeah. And what will I do my entire day at home? After some time, children will leave for school. They will come back only by 3 o'clock. And that 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock, what do I do? Yeah, so all of those things were coming, more of identity than the money pressure, because our provident fund and all of that were good enough to carry us for some time. But I think that identity bit was really hurting me, and that is why I didn't want to wait too long. I wanted to
Moved.
find
Yeah.
something which will give me a purpose and an identity.
Very
Once again.
nice. And
Yeah.
and that's what that clarity comes only sometimes through fear, right?
Yes,
And that gives you a
yes.
lot of courage.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell me, Ruma, like you were telling me that you actually went on the floor, trained people,
Yeah.
got them fitter, and actually were a gym trainer to today
Yes.
running an organization with the way you're running it, right?
Yeah.
And a very beautiful thing a friend of mine told me when I actually decided to move out of a corporate, job, and of course I'm just starting off. But she said there's an art of becoming.
Mm-hmm.
Don't start with the attitude that you have to prove to yourself that you've arrived. Enjoy the process of becoming.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
So what was that
absolutely.
like for you? Because to stay on track for 7, 8 years as you've been, what were the small things that you did that got you to stay committed?
Yeah, as you rightly said, I started training people at the gym, and when I started, I had free customers. Yeah, I finished my studies. I had to re-educate myself. I was from an IT background. Went back, re-educated myself, became a gym trainer, and I had my first few set of free clients who I trained, and they started getting results, and that gave me a big boost in confidence that I can train too. And I've been exercising myself for the last so many years. So I had the experience of myself. I could understand how a body moves and what kind of sensations they will have when they go through a certain kind of movement. I could very well feel the person when they were doing the exercise. So that was great. And there was a time when we wanted to scale our business. I knew that just standing in the gym and training people will not take me where I want to be. And then we wanted to scale, and we took our business online, and we
Yeah.
started servicing customers across the world. The first customer was from Hyderabad. And she was a friend of mine. She said, Ruma, I will pay you to train me, but train me online. And that was such a lovely comment that your friends and families have started trusting you, not just outsiders, but friends and family. So that was another thing that was a boost in confidence. And then word of mouth, we never used to run paid ads. We started getting customers from Australia, Hong Kong, France.
And this is word of mouth?
All word of mouth.
And you used an app, right? If I'm correct.
We did, yes. And that is how we could go online. So the technology helped us to go online, where I could help people at any time of their choice, in any place of their convenience.
But this is such a nice thing that you sort of take the skill that you have in engineering and leading to
Yes.
software and then adapt it into a different space, right?
Yes,
That's the
yes,
beauty of
yes,
this
yes.
as well. Yeah.
Technology is everywhere. Without technology, any business, if we have to scale, it has to stand on technology.
Sure.
Yeah. So that realization I had, and that helped. And then we scaled. And then the next one was, so this was another moment in our journey. The next one was when we launched the Women's Health Mastery Program in India, which is now called the Strongify Me program in India, where now we are impacting multiple women, not just urban population, but tier 2, tier 3 cities as
Sure.
well. And when I see the transformation in them, and that really gives a great sense of joy.
Yeah.
Because, in that, when we talk about tier 2, tier 3 city women who probably do not have so much of confidence, lack of self-esteem, they have been tied to their home all through their life. They have a kind of a social conditioning as well, that women are there only to serve, not for themselves.
Sure.
Yeah, they are not to be served, they are only for serving. So, and coming from that kind of a background, when I'm able to impact their health and their mindset as well, that gives me a great boost. And over the period of years, Government of India also recognized.
That's amazing.
Me. Yeah,
Congratulations
thank
to the number of awards from Times of India to everything that you, and Economic Times as
Economic
well.
Times as well.
Called you
Yes.
the Entrepreneur of the
Yes.
Year awards, right?
Yes.
That's so nice
Yes.
to see.
So all
and
of this kept
yeah.
me going. These kind, and I have to say that, has it always been a very positive journey? There have been a lot of downs as well. We have suffered losses in our business certain months, and then certain months were total rainfall. We had booming profits certain months. So, and we have grown our team from, I was a single person, then we got our first member Rebi, and now we are a team of 5 people. We
Yeah.
have 8 health coaches with us. So, so it's just an amazing journey. It's not just a success that gives us the pleasure. When you overcome challenges, overcome the failures, and then become successful, it gives you even more confidence. And to overcome the challenges, you need a lot of courage. Oftentimes we back out, right? Whenever there is a loss in the business, okay, I'm going to shut my shop and I'm going to sit down. But then courage, there will be fear always of failure, but the courage tells you that try this one more time, it may work. So I think that some of those were the best moments of our journey as well.
That's wonderful to hear. And you're running a holistic wellness,
Yes.
technology driven, can I call it a company?
Yes, it is.
Called Navatai.
Navatai. Yes, it
great.
is Navatai.
And how many people does it largely impact now?
So we have trained, we do a lot of free trainings as well for women, and we have trained more than 1 lakh women across the world. And on our paid programs, we have close to 4,800 women now. Yeah.
Okay.
Men, women across the world.
Okay.
4,800 in our paid programs.
And we'll talk about that a little more also eventually. So there were 2 important topics that we said we'll spend time on, right? And we'll raise awareness about. So the gut and the brain. Particularly, we said that we'll talk about the gut. That's doing the rounds now. It's trending. For some reason, it's normalized to have a gut issue, to be bloated all the time.
It is not normal.
It's
but
almost,
people are normalizing.
They are saying, oh, okay, you also have a gut issue. Cool. I identify that you have. That means people are struggling with it.
Yes,
right?
they are.
So when I was reading about it, it's so beautiful that it said that gut and the brain they have evolved together at the same time to support the human evolution itself.
Yes.
And they are very interlinked. They're like best friends. They share a relationship, they share happiness, they share sadness. This is so beautifully explained how integral the 2 are. Right? They don't function without each other. So can you help us understand why?
Yes, of course. Now, just for people who are listening to us to understand, and if you, to explain this the best, if you've gone through an exam when you were in school or college, the tension of the exam, many people used to run to the loo multiple number of times. Did you notice that, Mohana? Many people had loose motions just before the exams. So what is that? That is nothing but the stress in the brain is signaling the gut to perform in a certain way. And similarly, in our gut, there is a hormone called serotonin, which is a happy hormone. And there are a lot of neurotransmitters that transmit emotions back to our brain. Serotonin is one of them, which is a happy hormone, and we use it all the time. And serotonin is created in the gut. So if lesser amount of serotonin is created in the gut, then you will not have a very happy feeling. So, so your brain is sending signal to your digestive system, and your digestive system is sending signal to your brain. So all of these come together into a gut-brain axis where they are constantly talking to each other through the vagus nerve. Our gut has a microbiota, as we call it, lot of microorganisms that cannot be seen with naked eyes. At least 1 trillion species are there just in our gut. Can you imagine?
Wow.
So now they can get impacted by your lifestyle, sleep habits, stress, medicines that you take, any disease condition, and it can really impact your gut health. And if that happens, it can have an impact on your brain as well, where you may feel brain fog, you may find it difficult to focus on activities, you may go into depression as.
So, Ruma, what happens to the brain if the gut is not functioning well?
You can have cognitive disabilities. You may find it difficult to focus at work. You may find brain fog. You may find mentally down. Oftentimes you'll find yourself difficult to cheer up. You may not even know it is due to gut. So at that time, it's best to have a probiotic. Anything which is fermented food, you will see that if you have fermented food, automatically, it starts working on your mental health as well.
So one of the case studies that I was reading up on clearly said that there's this woman who actually had a lot of memory loss, and for a period of time,
Yeah.
extended period of time. Then when they finally did an entire check, she was just bloated.
Yeah.
And that your bloating can cause
Yes.
memory loss.
Yes. Yes.
And you, like you mentioned, you have a fugue, right? You don't
Yes.
remember things for periods.
Yes.
And that's quite scary,
Yes,
actually.
absolutely, absolutely. So gut health, yes.
So where should we start, Ruma? Should we start with the brain or should we start with the gut?
Both.
How do we do
How do
that?
you do
How
that?
do we take care of it?
Yes. So the best way to do that is, start. Do not see it as brain and gut separately. It's your body. It is one body. It's one piece of machine that is working together to give us life. So number one is, please start correcting lifestyle. Sleep well. While eating, be very mindful of what you're eating, and never, and this is one thing that I tell everyone in our community as well, that if you are stressed out and if you're not going through a healthy emotion, do not eat at that time. The food doesn't get digested well. So if you're sitting down to eat, there used to be a time when people used to pray before eating. That is a great way of doing that. Send a lot of gratitude, pray, and then eat, so that your gut is in a very primed to have that food and digest it well. So number two is mindfulness during eating, and having good emotions at the time of eating. Never eat when you are stressed, angry, fighting with people.
Okay.
All of that. Never do that. Never eat at your desk. Always have a separate time for eating. Sleep is very, very important. 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
So what happens that it supports the gut? Is it that you sleep well? That means you're not eating during that time. So it's a natural fasting. And is it that it supports a digestion system process, which is why the gut is?
Yeah. So sleep is for the brain.
Oh,
Sleep is for the brain, and the brain has to go through. So when we sleep, we go through multiple cycles in our sleep. During those sleep cycle, our brain is also going through different frequencies, which are known as the brain wave frequencies. The four brainwave frequencies that people know of is the beta state, which is when we are very focused at work and we are creative and we are trying to do stuff, accomplish stuff. Then is the alpha state. Alpha state is the state when you are just about to go to sleep. You have relaxed. When you meditate, you get into the alpha state. When you're relaxed, and then you get into the delta stage. Delta is the stage when your newer cells are getting created in your body. Yeah, and that is basically, that is the time when if you have exercised, now the newer muscle formations will happen at that time. And then is the theta stage. Theta is where recovery and healing happens. And all of these, and the brain has to, through our entire sleep cycle, the brain has to go through each one of these cycles and take you through each one of these cycles, so that your health is recovering as well. And that has an impact on the gut, because your gut is also recovering. It is flushing out toxins. It is creating the new microbiota in your intestine. So this cycle is needed, and brain goes through all of these states. So I'm talking about two separate things. I'm talking about gut. So eat mindfully, and then take care of your brain by sleeping well. These are the two primary things. If you can do that, then you will see that over a period of time, nutrition and exercise, they help. But if you can have these two first taken care of, rest of the things will follow. That is
fascinating, because for me, very naturally, I thought when I sleep, it's the sleep is supporting my digestion.
It does. Of course, because at that time your body is restoring. How does it do that? Because it is absorbing the nutrients that you have eaten to restore your body. Your newer cells are getting created, and that is happening from the food that you have taken. So yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
And let's talk about food a little bit now.
Okay.
What foods support gut? Good gut.
Good gut. Any food that is not fried. Sugar doesn't support gut. So please, the moment you have sugar, it is ruining your It is eating away the good microorganisms from
What
your gut.
foods support?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, sugar. I tend to say sugar because
Yeah.
if you want to support your gut, please do not
Don't
have sugar.
sugar. Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
Do not
Got
have
it.
sugar. It
Got
is a poison. Yeah. So sugar absolutely out. And the food that will support your gut are green leafy vegetables,
Mm.
plenty of vegetables, and second are fermented food. The traditional dosas and the idlis, all of those. We have curd, which are also very gut friendly.
So, I want to talk about when to have them, but just for a second, dosa, idli, all of them are high on carbs also.
They are, yes.
So, is that something that, because there's always a tendency to say that, hey, I don't even want to have carbs, right? When
Yeah.
you're especially on a weight loss or a diet,
Yes.
etc. So,
Yeah.
how do we deal with that?
So you will have to classify the kind of carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates will not work for whether people are trying to lose weight, body fat percentage, thyroid, PCOS, hormonal imbalances, menstrual problems, menopause transition, diabetes. Did I say diabetes as well? Simple carbohydrates do not work. In simple carbohydrates, you get rice, right? But complex carbohydrates, you can make your dosa with millets.
So dosa and okay, got it. That's a complex carbohydrate.
That is a complex carbohydrate. Any kind of millet, ragi, rava, jawar, bajra, all of these are complex carbohydrates. They are very, very good for our health.
But
as
Ruma,
well
when
as
you have them, so many nutritionists are prescribing it to people, and they feel like they have a stone in their stomach. They don't digest it easily. So, as a culture, it's become that millets are not something we're able to digest in our bodies anymore. We don't have strong guts.
Traditionally, we are more used to having millets.
Yes.
So suddenly, why is it that today we are not able to digest it? People have to start questioning that. It is our lifestyle which is not allowing us to digest. We have taken our lifestyle to a level where we have ruined our gut health and it is not allowing us to digest. So the next question then should be, then how can we improve our gut health so that we can digest the right kind of food, right? And that would be sleep, exercise, eating the right kind of food, plenty of water. Did I say sleep? I'm repeating sleep again and again because sleep is so very important that I cannot overemphasize the need of sleep, good sleep. All of these are needed. And just, and if we stop eating the wrong kind of food, our gut will be fine. We have ruined our gut. So just going back to the way our ancestors used to eat and improving our lifestyle by moving around a lot, not being on mobile so much, doing more activities, it will restore our gut health.
So, just going back a little to what you said, you talked about certain foods that support our guts functioning well.
Yes.
Do you have any recommendations in terms of, like, let's say in the morning, you have to eat these things, afternoon? There's so much on the internet, right? And
Yes.
I just want clarity in terms of helping our audience when to eat what in terms of just foods that support the gut.
Yes. So, probiotics can be had anytime. Gut health, any food that helps your digestive system can be had anytime. I'm also a person who believes in simplicity and give a lot of flexibility. Oftentimes, people also ask me, when should I have my breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I tell them, I can tell you, have your breakfast at 5 o'clock in the morning because that is when the sun rises. Will you be able to have it consistently? You will not be able to have it, right? So there is no point restricting people. Have something that blend in their lifestyle, and I tell them, have a probiotic, a curd, a bowl of curd. It is very simple, right? To have a bowl of curd, it's available everywhere. Have a bowl of curd with every meal, and that helps our digestive system. And if you see in certain cultures in India, we have curd rice after meal.
Absolutely.
I mean, so after every meal, if you can supplement it with a probiotic, it helps to it helps in digestion. And have plenty of vegetables in every meal, cooked vegetables in every meal, and that will help.
And a probiotic is something you have after your meal. Prebiotic is before.
So prebiotic and probiotic. Prebiotic are the kind of food that help. That is the food for your probiotics. So probiotics are the ones that install good microorganisms in your gut, and prebiotic is the food that these microorganisms eat. So prebiotics would be your onions, garlics. These are prebiotics. Buttermilk is a probiotic.
It's a probiotic.
It's a probiotic. So the onions and the garlics, they are very good food for these good microorganisms for your probiotics. So you should have onions, garlic as well. That will also help your gut health.
Okay, very interesting. It's great. And what else should we know about the gut that I haven't asked?
One of the things that I see happen very commonly is that Many people do not know that they have gut issues. For example, if you know people with Hashimoto's thyroidism, it is an autoimmune disorder. Any autoimmune disorder, if you see, is associated with leaky gut. They may not have bloating or they may not have the regular symptoms of indigestion or acidity, but Hashimoto's hypothyroidism is could
Linked
be
to
linked to leaky gut.
what is a leaky gut?
So leaky gut, what happens is your food should travel through your intestine, correct? It has a pathway of its own. But in a leaky gut, what happens is undigested food can leak out of the gut and get into your bloodstream. So for the bloodstream, it is a foreign body.
Yeah.
And the moment there is a foreign body in our body, if you see, we get viral attack, right? Why do we get a viral fever? Because there was an infection and the body is now trying to fight it. So your body's immune system goes up to try to kill that foreign body, and that is called leaky gut, and that causes Hashimoto's hypothyroidism. So oftentimes it does not show as indigestion or bloating, but there is a gut issue. There is a direct linkage of a gut issue with some of the diseases, but people often do not know about.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Thanks for sharing all of this, right?
The another thing also is if somebody sees that they are not able to lose weight, it could be a gut issue. If somebody sees that persistently they are trying to gain weight, there are a lot of underweight people who are not able to gain weight. They eat a lot, but they are not able to gain weight. It could be a gut issue. So gut issue can go either ways. If your microorganisms are not sending the signal for proper metabolization of your fat, carbohydrate in your intestine, then it can result in either ways, either weight loss or weight gain.
But Ruma, why has this become such a big issue now? Almost every second video that you watch, which is trending, is all about the gut, right?
Yes.
What are we doing fundamentally wrong? Is it just the food?
It is the stress, I would think, the urban stress and people not moving around and the lifestyle that has changed. So if you see, Mohana, if you see our lifestyle, right? Today, I and you are having a conversation in an AC room. Yeah, when we used to go to office, we used to sit in an AC room and work all day long. But if you look at our ancestors, they would have to travel to the bus, they would have to go to the farm, and we are not eating properly as well. So the entire we are spending more time on mobile. When we get back home after a tired day, we are not spending time with family. What are we doing? We are spending time with Netflix or YouTube, right? So the social construct has changed a lot. Stress in the workplace has increased. Do you know that in the Indian workplace, the stress levels are 60% higher than the remaining part of the world? In India,
60%.
60%. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Whereas, 60% of the people suffer with workplace stress, whereas across the world it is only 20%.
Oh, okay.
So it is 3 times more higher in India.
So basically, 60% of the workforce,
yes,
recognizable workforce, is stressed.
Yes.
Whereas the rest of the world, an average of 20%.
It's 20% average. So you can see, so stress is impacting a lot of other things, mainly gut. And that is why it is so much in the news nowadays. Yes. And there are people, and we also meet people, right? We are in this industry. And over the last few years, what I saw when I started was primarily diabetes and heart attack. Now we are getting a lot of people with gut issues. And it has really increased over a period of last few years. Yes.
Changing, right?
Yes.
And it's generation agnostic. Everybody across generation.
Yes.
Men,
women, everybody across. That is the trend that I'm seeing right now. And and the another thing that I'm also seeing is in the younger population. I'm seeing a lot of hair loss. I'm seeing a lot of sleep issues. So all of these are also interrelated gut issue. If you have a poor gut, you will have hair loss.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So even in the younger generation, I'm seeing that. Again, related to the lifestyle, right? The food that they eat, the activities that they do.
Yeah, and that's why I think you are supportive of a holistic approach to pretty much everything, right?
Yes.
So let's move to weight, right?
Okay. Very interesting topic.
Yeah. Should I always be fit and fabulous of a certain weight across my life? What is the life cycle of weight for a person?
See, weight, I'm not so worried about weight, honestly. To me, what matters, especially in women, is body fat percentage, because fat is a toxin. And that toxin can create a lot of inflammation in the body. It can create hormonal imbalances. It can create a lot of diseases. So it's not the weight. If you stand on a weighing scale, that is not the number we are worried about. We are worried about the body fat percentage.
Okay.
For a woman, I recommend them to hold a body fat percentage as long as she is having her periods and is menstruating, 25%. After her menopause, she can go lower as well, because any body fat percentage lower than that can affect her menstrual cycles. 25,
25 was
25
the body fat percentage.
body fat percentage, yes, that is what I recommend women. And that is quite achievable as well, as long as you are being mindful of everything. It is quite achievable. So yeah, anything lower than that can affect the menstrual cycle. So that is what
And is
I
this very
prescribe.
different for men? From a body, even they, I mean, everybody has to focus
Yeah.
on your body fat
Yes,
percentage. For
yes.
men, what is the range?
Men can go up to 15,
Hmm.
20. I mean, for men, they don't have to get their periods. So they can go. But anything lower than 10 can be quite difficult to have. And, may need some very extreme measures of not drinking water enough and going on very cutting calories and all of that. So it can be detrimental to
Sure.
health. But up to 15 is quite healthy, I would say.
Okay.
If they can attain that, it's quite healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And is there a relationship between gut and weight?
Yes. So if the gut is not working properly, either so your fat, your carbohydrates are not getting metabolized properly, right? That is all the metabolization of carbohydrate, fat, protein, everything happens in your intestine. And if that is not happening, then that will affect your weight in some way or the other, because the energy balance is totally off. So two things can happen. If you have a gut issue, either you will not gain weight, or if you have a gut issue, you will not lose weight. So it can go either ways. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, just watch the gut along with
Yes,
anything that you're trying to do.
absolutely.
So when you look at someone who's fit, right? What are they doing to
Mhm.
keep themselves fit and looking that way and being healthy all the time?
Yeah, number one is definitely exercising. Yeah, taking care of this. I think number one is putting effort, invest. Okay, let me rephrase it. Investing time, effort, energy, money on themselves. When you invest in something, definitely it grows, right? It is like an investment. And these people, they have certain characteristics. I see they are very consistent with their exercises. No matter, I have worked with many busy professionals. They are traveling across the globe, but they never miss their exercise schedule. All right. They are doing all various ranges of exercises, strength, stamina. So we have 5 pillars of physical fitness: strength, stamina, flexibility, balance, posture.
Sure.
And they focus on everything. They are eating healthy, they sleep on time, and they know how to manage their stress better. They are minimum sleeping at least 7 to 8 hours a day on good days. On bad days, 6 to 7 hours. But they focus on sleep. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And they know how to say no.
They know how to say no.
No. Yes, because everybody has a demanding career, right? And where to draw the boundary and to say, this is my family time and this is my office time, to be able to set clear boundaries and still advance in their career, they do it very well.
Okay, that's great to understand. I think that's also, I think it's hard to always,
It is.
like, for example, if you go to someone's house and they give you sugar, you can't always say, give me something else. So
Yes.
it just comes down to saying no to having the coffee or
Yes,
the tea.
yes,
right?
yes. No, but that's a very interesting point, Mohana. We as a culture, no, thanks for bringing that up. And I keep saying this in every conversation. So we as a culture, and it's not just in India, it's across the world. When I speak with people across the world, I hear that people want to please others. They want to get that acceptance from others. And that is why we are so hesitant to say no to things that do not work for us, thinking that I might hurt the other person. Right? And that is something that we I wouldn't say teach, but we make people aware of that emotion, that you are doing it not for yourself but for someone else. Right? So you should never feel pressurized that I'm a diabetic and yet I have to have a laddu because I went to their place and they served me laddu. Yeah, so we share tips with them. So shall I share my tip with you?
Of course.
You know what? I'm going through a very bad stomach problem, so I will not be able to have it right now. My doctor asked me not to have this.
It's the easiest white lie, right?
Yes.
What I call a white
Yes,
lie.
absolutely. I do that all the time. My doctor has advised me not to have this for the next 7 days. Or I say, I'm doing a vratam. And in that vratam, I cannot have this. So I have this list of things that I know where to use what, and I have used it everywhere. Because, one of the things that I've learned is that if I fall sick, it is me and my family who are going to get affected.
Absolutely.
And I do not like the feeling of falling sick or having somebody take care of me, taking off from office, taking off from school to take care of their mama or take care of their wife. I do not like that. So, I better take care of myself.
That's really nice.
But please use this tip next time and let me know if this works.
100%. I'm not too bad at saying no, but I'll definitely use it.
But now my worry is people who are watching this, listen to this. Now, whenever I go to their place,
they'll know, right? That's nice.
Please do not share it with them. Everybody else you can share.
So, Ruma, what is your routine? How are you in your late 40s looking the way you do? And feeling so fit and healthy. How is this possible?
Thank you so much for the compliment. So I'm 49 and I have two grown-up kids. My elder son is 22, my younger son is 18. One of them is in university doing his post-graduation, second one is in college. So I feel great that I have two healthy babies. And what do? I wake up, the first thing I start with is meditation. I do that in the bed, before I even get out. I finish my day with meditation. I clean my chakras, heal my chakras. I am a Reiki practitioner and I do Reiki meditation along with chakra healing. And then I have a routine of visualization. The things that I desire in life, the things that I aspire for in life, I have a vision board. And I visualize those things coming true. Then I get out of the bed, I drink my detox water, which is lemon, ginger, turmeric, amla powder, black pepper powder.
So all you do in the morning or the previous night?
In the morning. This is all after I wake up.
No, but you make the drink the previous night?
No. It's all
fresh.
Yes, fresh. So all of that, amla powder is ready, turmeric powder is ready. I have my small box, which everything is there. So I just keep putting all of that in my water and then drink it. And then I read.
Sure.
That is very important. I do not, and one of the things that, people who are listening to us right now, Mohana, I would like to tell them that half of your stress will be gone in life if you do not wake up and start with your daily chores. Just take a moment for yourself. It could be 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And that is how I have been able to overcome my stress. There was 2 years back, I was highly stressed, setting up this entire business, online business, ads running, sometimes profit, sometimes loss. The only way I could get myself in calm composure was by spending the first 45 minutes to an hour just for myself. Meditation, visualization, and then reading. Or journaling. What do I want to accomplish for the day? Whatever that may be, but quiet time, not a thriller, but a book which is inspiring. It can be a spiritual book. It can be a knowledge providing book. Anything will do. I don't read the newspaper first thing in the morning. And then I don't do my exercises then. I do some of the work around here and there. And then I start my work at 8:30 in the morning. Yes. I go and between that, from the time to that time, I also take out time to go out for a walk with my husband, because otherwise it will be like a calendar appointment. We are going we otherwise don't get to meet throughout the week. So that is our quiet time together, where we go out for a walk, we have our chit chat, this and that, our romantic talks and all of that. So we finish that, then we come back, we will have our tea together, we have our breakfast, and that finishes my morning routine. I start my work around 8:30, 9 o'clock, latest by 9 o'clock. Then what I try and do is get my exercises by afternoon, in the afternoon, so that I can come back and have my lunch. That becomes my post-workout.
Got it.
Yeah, post-workout meal. Yeah.
Nutritious.
Yes, meal. Nutritious meal, which is high in carbohydrate and protein, which restores and recovers my muscles. And then again, I start working. I take a small break of 2 hours in the afternoon. And then I'm back to work again. I'm a workaholic.
In a good way. I think you're balancing it quite nicely.
Yes. My children love it that I'm workaholic. I'm not always sitting on top of them.
So there's one last question, right?
Sure thing.
What is that one exercise that you would recommend everyone to be doing in their life?
Can I say 2?
Sure.
Yeah. Push-ups and squats. That's it. Okay. Yeah, they are the king of exercises. And if you allow me another one, I'll say plank. These are the 3. Whenever people are traveling, I tell them, if you do not have any time, just do plank, push-up, squats. That's it. And that will take care of your entire body.
That's awesome, and it's hard to do as you keep getting older.
It is not. It's very easy. I'll show you.
It's wonderful. So on that note, Ruma, thank you so much. It's been nothing but filled with knowledge and very much a lot of takeaways. And I really enjoyed talking to you and meeting you after so many years. So thanks for joining us as well. really, really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Likewise, Mohan, it was so lovely catching up with you after such a long time and in a different role altogether.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Yeah, so wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
And thanks to the audience who are listening to us right now. Thank you.
you.